What's up, everybody? I'm your friendly bass player, DeLuca. Yeah. So, driving to the gig again. On my way, I got about another 45 minutes to the gig. So I thought I'd make a video. Original music versus cover music. Okay. And the way I treat both. My approach to both styles of music, or types of music. Back in the 80s when I was coming up, I used to play in a lot of original bands. And I thought I was too cool, man, to play in a cover band. Even though cover bands were really big back in the 80s. There was a lot of clubs back in the 80s and early 90s for live music, period. For original bands and for cover bands. But cover bands were really doing well back then because DJs hadn't hit it yet. There was a few around, but most of them, DJs wasn't a big thing yet. So live music was still a big thing. So I was playing in original bands because I thought, I wanted to make it, man. I want to be a star. I want to hitch my wagon to my wagon to somebody who was gonna make it. So now looking back on it, I wish I would have just got into covers back then. I didn't get into covers till like the late 90s. I should have got into covers like in the early 90s or something. Late 80s, early 90s, but I didn't. I waited around. Man, I used to do some shitty ass original gigs too, man. Playing for hardly any people. It was usually just playing for family and friends of the band leader. The person who wrote the songs, the primary person. So you do one or two gigs with them and then the band would fall apart. You months of rehearsals, the band would fall apart. Then you're on to the next original band. And you do that shit, like, keep doing it forever. If you let it, So I finally woke up in the late 90s and got into my first cover band. And I ain't looked back since. But, like I said, if I would have jumped into the covers earlier, that would have been cool. But I have no complaints now because I gig all the damn time. So the difference, the way I treat original music versus covers, because right now I do original music mainly only in the studio. There's a producer I work with that he calls me to play bass lines on original songs that he wrote or his partner wrote. And usually what I do is I go in and play the bass line that they created. Usually they created the bass line on some keyboard or something, and I'll go in and play what they wrote. I'll put it on bass. I'll give it the live bass feel. And they'll have a live drummer come in too, and me and him we'll go into the studio together. It'd just be me and the drummer. And we're playing to the track. And basically we're playing over it, and then what they do is they pull out the electronic drums, they pull out the keyboard bass and replace it with us. So that's kind of what I've been doing with original music. But here's the thing. The way I treat original music now, and what I should have did back in the 80s when I was doing it all the time, I should have just treated it like a cover. Because that's all it is to me. It's like playing covers. I'm playing somebody else's song. It might be technically an original song, but to me, not being a songwriter, because I'm not a songwriter, I'm playing somebody else's song. So it's a cover to me. I'm learning parts. Every once in a while, they'll ask me in the studio, okay, man, can you do a little bit of this? Do this, change it up a little bit. Yeah, cool. But most of the time, 95% of the time, I'm laying it down just like they wrote it. So to me, when I'm learning that song, I'm learning it just like I did when I was playing a cover, when I'm learning a cover song. So that's the way you should treat original music. Okay? Original music and covers, learning parts takes a lot of discipline. When somebody hires you for their original band to play their songs, or if you're hired for a cover band, you need to learn the parts that are written. Nobody's paying you or hiring you unless they tell you up front. They're mostly telling you to play what's written. or what they recorded. Definitely in a cover band. They're not looking for you to create new bass parts to a cover song. At least they shouldn't be. Okay? So that's the way I treat originals and covers. I treat them all as covers because that's what I do. I go in and play the part. Okay? Now, as a new bass player, if there's new bass players out there, you got to get in where you fit in. Now, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. So there's not many places for... I don't follow original bands that much anymore here in the Bay because I'm busy doing my own shit. But there's not many clubs in the Bay Area for live original bands anymore. There's a few, but there's not nearly what there used to be back in the day. So I don't know how those bands are getting out there playing. They might be putting on their own parties, renting a hall out and selling their own tickets, doing that kind of thing, their own promotion. And that's cool. That might be the way that they're doing it now. But to me, if you want to be a good musician, this is not just applies to bass players. At least for some of your time, play some covers. Because it takes discipline. You develop your ear to learn these songs. You develop if you read music, you develop you sharpen your skills at reading charts and sheet music. So it's a win-win. And two things that come from that. You're playing more gigs. Because cover bands definitely play more gigs than original bands. There's no doubt about that. And you're getting paid. You're getting paid. Original bands, you ain't making shit. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're looking for a band. Be versatile if you're going to join a cover band. Be open to all kinds of music. Just to give an example, my band plays everything from Motown to today's music. So we'll play classic rock. We'll play Motown, like I said. We'll play some oldies, other oldies. 70s, of course, the funk stuff, the 70s rock, 80s R&B, all the way to today's stuff, the hits to today. Hip hop. We mix everything because we're trying to appeal to the mass crowd. That's what my band does. Now, your band can be more narrowly focused, but that's on you. That's on you. If you don't want to play R&B, if you don't want to play, certain types of music, then that's on you. But I'm looking to work. I'm looking to get out there and play in front of as many people as possible and make that money. So, another thing too, one of the last things I gotta say, if you're gonna join a cover band, make sure you guys are playing the hits. The songs that you're playing are the hits. Give me the classic rock, R&B, whatever, hip hop, the hits. No obscure B-side, deep album cut bullshit. Okay? That nobody else knows but you and about 3 other people. Because nobody, I'm going to tell you, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Okay? When you're doing covers and you want to be in a working cover band, you're playing for the average, everyday person. The average, everyday person who drives to work, listens to the radio in their car, or liked a certain type of music when they were growing up, or, basic, everyday people. They want to hear the hits. Okay? Out of a crowd of 100 people, 95% of them, I'll lower it. Let's just say 90% of them want to hear the hits. You got 10% sitting there going, oh man, I wish they would say this sound. But you're not playing for them. You're playing for the 90%. Okay? Those are the people, especially when you're doing private gigs, they're just the regular people. And they have their favorites that they grew up on, that they like to listen to. They don't want to hear no obscure bullshit. And there comes a time when you're doing a cover band, you're playing stuff over and over again. Oh, damn, we got to play that damn song again. But you look out there and you see everybody dancing, right? And they're having a good time. And at the end of the night, the client comes up to you. He says, thank you for coming. You made my party great, or you made my wedding reception great, or whatever. That's what it's all about. And sometimes they even throw in a tip. And the tips can be pretty damn good. So, if you're playing some obscure bullshit, that's not going to happen. That's not going to work for you. Okay? It'll get you in a couple places to start. But let me give you an example. Say you're a band that goes to a club. You want to play in the clubs. And you're a cover band. Damn, a bunch of Hell's Angels is driving by and shit. Making all that damn noise. So, you're getting into a club. You get in there. They give you a night. And they give you a weekend night. A Friday or a Saturday. Those are prime money nights for a club. For most clubs, anyway. So you go in there, you jamming, you playing, you think you're doing your thing, but nobody's dancing. Nobody's coming through the door. People are walking by, they can hear you from the street. They stop, they listen for a second, they keep moving. So club's empty, and the people who are in there are just watching, or they're talking and they're not paying attention. Nobody's really dancing, except for your family and friends that you invited. Of course, they're going to dance to anything you do. But I'm talking about the average customer. You think that club's going to hire you back? Because you got to think like the club owner. If you're playing some obscure bullshit and nobody's dancing to it, or your band, I'll do a video on making your band sound great at a later time. But we're talking about just the actual songs. You pick stuff that's obscure that nobody knows, that can't relate to. That club owner is going to look at that and he's going to go, you know what? Nobody's coming through the door. Nobody's dancing. So when they're not dancing, they're not sweating. So they're not sweating, so they're not buying drinks or not ordering food. So that means I ain't making no damn money. So why would I hire this band, pay them whatever I'm paying them, and they not making at least their money? They're not covering their pay. I'm not making a profit on that, that band. And that's the bottom line with clubs. No matter what they tell you, bottom line for clubs is people buying drinks and food. If you're a band that can't bring people in to buy drinks and food, you might get in there once or twice, but that's it. Especially on a Friday, Saturday. If you can't do that, you can't deliver like that on a Friday or Saturday, you ain't coming back. So, song selection for your band is when you're in a cover band is very important. So the way to do that, if you don't know which songs to choose, every area's got a popular cover band, or at least a handful of popular cover band. Check out their song list, see what they're doing. Go watch their show and see how the people react to those songs, and see how the band does those songs, how they perform them. Okay, and see if those are songs you think your band can do. Okay, see what the other groups are doing. Listen to the radio stations in your area and see what they're doing, what they're playing. That's important too, because radio stations play, especially I'm talking mainly the classic rock stations and the oldies, the old school stations. They pretty much play what people like, what they know that their audience is looking for. Okay? They're not going to play no bullshit on their station, that their audience is not looking for. So like if you're an old school funk band, listen to the old school funk station, see what they're playing. Okay? Go check out the old school funk bands in your area, see what they're playing. Do a little market research. A lot of what bands have to do, that's another video I need to make too, is marketing. Okay, is marketing. See, marketing your band and getting the name out there. But so this video is running long, man. I just thought it would be a short video. So the bottom line, treat original and cover songs all as covers. If you're not the principal songwriter, treat it as a cover, no matter what instrument you play. Okay? It takes discipline to learn it. Okay? And last thing, like I said, pick the hits. If you're gonna join a cover band, pick the hits. No obscure bullshit. Okay? Unless you want to sit in your garage or your rehearsal studio every week and not just rehearse and not get out there. Or you do 1 or 2 gigs and realize that it ain't happening and you fall apart. You wasted all that damn time. So that's just my driving to the gig contribution today. I'm gonna go play the hits right now. Yeah. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Make some comments. Let me know what it's like in your area. I mean, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, so it might be different than your area as far as original music. You might be in an area that original music is pretty good, pretty big. Or covers might be pretty big. Let me know what's going on in your area. But out here, you know, it's tough right here in the Bay Area because DJs are big in my area. There's only a handful of top cover bands that really make real money. And then original bands, I don't know what they're doing these days because I don't really follow them. Like I said, the only original music I do is in the studio. I don't do original unless somebody wants to pay me to go do a showcase or some kind of live event. But then again, I'm gonna treat it like a cover. But as far as being in an original band, playing like original clubs, I don't do that shit no more. It's a waste of time for me. I'm too old for that shit. So I'm DeLuca, y'all. I'll catch up with you next time. Later.